Welcome to AviatorDB News Briefing. Today is Sunday, June 28, 2026. First, breaking news headlines. Antonov An-2 gear collapse disrupts Luxembourg-Findel airport. In other news, Canada 5G aviation mitigation measures face phased sunset by 2028. China Eastern A330neo order, Airbus lands $9.5 billion widebody deal. Jomo Kenyatta Airport expansion, Kenya revives $1.2 billion upgrade plan. Eve Air Mobility $230 million offering to fund eVTOL certification. Now for the details. Luxembourg-Findel Airport, Luxembourg, June 21, 2026. A historic Antonov An-2T, registration SPAOO, sustained substantial damage after its left-hand main landing gear collapsed during landing at Luxembourg-Findel Airport, Lux ELX, on Sunday, temporarily closing the runway and disrupting flight operations. All three occupants on board escaped without injury. According to the Aviation Safety Network, ASN, the gear failure caused the left lower wing and fuselage to sustain significant damage after the aircraft struck the runway surface. The Grand Ducal Fire and Rescue Corps, CGDIS, responded to the scene. No fire or fuel leaks were reported. The incident triggered a temporary runway closure on Sunday afternoon, forcing at least one Luxair flight to enter a holding pattern and prompting several arrivals to be delayed or diverted. RTL Today reported passengers described the situation as chaotic, with some departures, including a Ryanair flight to Palma, delayed by up to 2 hours. Built in 1968, SPAOO is a Polish-registered single-engine biplane operated by the Luxembourg-based club Antonov An-2 Luxembourg. The An-2 has a storied history as a rugged utility and agricultural aircraft and is regarded as a vintage heritage machine. The specific cause of the landing gear failure has not yet been officially determined. An investigation by Luxembourg's national aviation safety authorities is expected. Source: Aviation Safety Network, ASN Wikibase. Transport Canada has announced a phased plan to sunset 5G aviation mitigation measures, shifting responsibility for radio altimeter safety from spectrum providers to aircraft operators. While telecom operators have voluntarily extended existing protections through June 30, 2026, complete removal of all spectrum mitigations is scheduled for January 1, 2028. According to Civil Aviation Safety Alerts, 2025-05 and 2025-14, the first major phase began January 1, 2026, when nationwide reduced power levels based on antenna uptilt and exclusion zones around 35 protected airports were removed. Only reduced power at runway ends in the 3800 MHz band remains, via specific elevation masks. The shift represents a transition from a shield the airports model to a harden the airplanes approach. Transport Canada is urging operators to retrofit fleets to meet radio altimeter tolerant standards, referencing airworthiness directives CF 2024-14 and CF 2024-15. The agency is leveraging the FAA's radio altimeter tolerant standard but has stated it does not intend to impose a broad-based retrofit mandate. Operators must determine necessary upgrades based on their specific fleet and operational requirements. Industry groups, including the National Airlines Council of Canada, have warned that non-tolerant aircraft may face significant operational restrictions, including the inability to conduct Cat 2-3 instrument landings, autolands, or use head-up guidance systems in low-visibility conditions. The DHC 8-401-402 Airworthiness Directive, CF 2025-55, further underscores that as mitigation sunset dates approach, aircraft operating in Canadian airspace must be configured as tolerant to avoid dispatch and landing performance restrictions. The move broadly aligns Canada with the U.S. C-band regulatory environment, though Ottawa diverges from Washington by stopping short of a mandatory fleet-wide retrofit. Pilots are encouraged to report any radio altimeter disturbances via official reporting forms to assist regulators in monitoring the transition. For a detailed technical overview, see the Radio Altimeter and 5G Interference Overview. China Eastern Airlines has finalized a firm order for 25 Airbus A330-900 widebody aircraft, with a total catalog value estimated between $9.35 billion and $9.5 billion. The agreement, confirmed in a filing with the Shanghai Stock Exchange on June 26, ranks among the largest long-haul fleet investments by a Chinese state-owned carrier in nearly a decade. According to the filing, aircraft will be delivered in batches from 2029 through 2033, 4 units in 2029, 5 in 2030, 6 in 2031, 7 in 2032, and 3 in 2033. China Eastern cited capacity growth, replacement of aging widebody models, and route network optimization to reduce unit operating costs as primary drivers of the purchase. The A330neo commitment follows a March 2026 order for 101 A320neo family aircraft, valued at approximately $15.8 billion. Together, the two transactions represent a combined investment exceeding $25 billion, underscoring a deep strategic alignment with Airbus across both narrow-body and wide-body operations. The A330-900, powered by Rolls-Royce Trent 7000 engines and offering improved aerodynamic efficiency over its predecessor, is expected to anchor China Eastern's expansion on long-haul corridors to Europe, North America, and Oceania. Industry analysts note the deal reinforces Airbus's dominant market position in China. For technical specifications, see the Airbus A330neo encyclopedia entry. Kenya has formally revived its long-delayed Jomo Kenyatta Airport expansion, signing a Kshiya $154.2 billion, approximately $1.2 billion, contract with China Road and Bridge Corporation to modernize Nairobi's primary aviation gateway. The project is designed to more than triple the airport's annual passenger capacity, from 7.5 million to roughly 22 million, through construction of a new terminal building, a new runway, and rehabilitation of existing airside and landside infrastructure, including taxiways and baggage handling systems. Transport Minister Davis Churcher confirmed the scope and budget, explicitly rejecting reports of a $375 billion valuation, and denying allegations that IMC Construction was involved in the final contract award. President William Ruto indicated construction is targeted to begin in July, with a projected 3-year timeline from financial close. The Africa Finance Corporation and the Trade and Development Bank have been appointed as lead arrangers, with financing structured around airport-based revenue streams and the National Infrastructure Fund, a departure from the public-private partnership model that collapsed following the cancellation of a deal with the Adani Group. The upgrade is framed as a strategic imperative to maintain Nairobi's standing as East Africa's premier aviation hub amid rapid capacity expansions at rival airports in Ethiopia and Rwanda. For detailed technical specifications on Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, see JKIA Airport data. Eve Air Mobility, the urban air mobility subsidiary of Embraer, has launched a $230 million registered direct offering to accelerate the development and certification of its 4-passenger electric vertical takeoff and landing eVTOL aircraft. The company offered 422,680 shares of common stock, priced at $4.85 per share, according to company filings. The capital raise is anchored by participation from Embraer and BNDES, the investment arm of the Brazilian Development Bank. A key feature of the transaction is the introduction of Brazilian Depositary Receipts, BDRs, enabling Eve to establish a dual listing on the B3 São Paulo Stock Exchange under the ticker EVB31, while maintaining its existing Nasdaq presence. The move is designed to diversify Eve's investor base and expand access to Brazilian capital markets. Proceeds will fund critical eVTOL aircraft development and certification activities, along with general corporate expenses and services performed in Brazil. Beyond the aircraft itself, Eve is developing a comprehensive suite of urban air mobility solutions, including traffic management software and supporting infrastructure services. By leveraging Embraer's deep engineering and certification expertise, Eve aims to close the gap between prototype development and commercial entry into service. That's all we have for today. You can get the latest aviation news at aviatordb.com.